Long ago, in the heart of the emerald forest, where birds sang lullabies and the trees whispered secrets to the wind, lived a mischievous monkey named Coco. Coco was known across the animal kingdom for his clever tricks and endless curiosity. One morning, as the golden sun rose above the treetops, Coco swung from vine to vine in search of breakfast. His stomach rumbled like thunder, and his eyes darted from branch to branch, hoping to find ripe bananas. But instead of bananas, Coco's eyes caught something odd nestled in a patch of moss beneath an old baobab tree. It was a drum, round, smooth, and glowing faintly with a magical hue. Coco leaped down and poked the drum with his finger. To his surprise, it made a deep, melodic sound that echoed through the forest like a voice calling from another world. Curious as ever, Coco tapped it again, this time with both hands. The moment he did, food began to appear all around him: fruits, nuts, yams, and even roasted corn. "Yippee!" shouted Coco, jumping up in joy. "A drum that brings food. I must be the luckiest monkey in the whole world." He munched on bananas and slurped juicy mangoes, licking his fingers as he hummed a tune. It was a feast fit for a king, or at least for a monkey with an appetite as big as the sky. As the sun climbed higher, Coco realized he had found something powerful. But he also knew he had to keep it secret. If the other animals discovered it, they might try to take it away. So he buried the drum beneath a pile of leaves and moss, marking the spot with a crooked stick and a special whistle only he knew how to make. Day after day, Coco would sneak off to his hidden treasure, beat the drum, and feast to his heart's content. The other animals began to wonder why he looked rounder, happier, and more energetic than ever before. "Where does Coco get all that food?" asked Tamba the tortoise. "He never joins us to forage, yet he's never hungry." "Maybe he found a secret banana grove," whispered Zazu the parrot. "Or maybe he's playing tricks again." The animals grew more curious. They began to follow Coco at a distance, but he was too clever. He always took different paths, swung through the trees, and changed his routine. One evening, as fireflies lit the forest with their gentle glow, Coco sat by the drum and whispered, "Magic drum, bring me roasted plantains with spicy pepper sauce." And the drum obeyed. Unbeknownst to Coco, a pair of eyes were watching from the shadows. It was Farah the fox, cunning and quiet, who had followed Coco all day. Farah licked her lips. "A magic drum that gives food, that's just what I need," she murmured. "Soon, that drum will be mine." The next morning, Farah told the other animals, "I know Coco's secret. He has a drum that makes food appear." "Are you sure?" asked Zara the zebra, astonished. "Positive," said Farah. "I saw it with my own eyes. Tonight, we'll sneak into the forest and see for ourselves." As night fell, Farah, Zara, Tamba, Zazu, and others crept silently through the jungle, following Farah's lead. They arrived at the marked spot and saw Coco dancing and eating beside the glowing drum. The animals gasped in awe. "It's true," they whispered. "Coco has a magic drum." Coco heard the rustle of leaves and turned quickly. His eyes widened when he saw the crowd. "Oh no," he muttered. "They found out." "Coco, why didn't you tell us?" asked Tamba gently. "We're your friends." "I was afraid you'd take it from me," Coco admitted. "I found it. It's mine." "But the forest belongs to all of us," said Zara. "And if the drum brings food, it should feed everyone, not just one." The animals began to argue. Some sided with Coco, saying he found it fair and square. Others insisted it should be shared. To settle the matter, they called a council meeting at the great rock beneath the full moon, where wise Elder Elephant presided. Elder Elephant listened patiently as Coco told his story, then nodded thoughtfully. "The drum is magical, yes, but magic must serve all, not one." "But what if someone misuses it?" Coco protested. "What if it falls into greedy hands? That is why we must create rules," said Elder Elephant. "We'll guard it together. We'll use it when the forest is dry or when food is scarce, not for personal feasts." The animals murmured in agreement. Coco felt torn. Part of him wanted to keep the drum, but another part knew Elder Elephant was right. Reluctantly, Coco handed over the drum. It was placed in a sacred cave guarded by vines, watched by the owl who never slept. Time passed, and the forest grew more united. The drum was only used when truly needed during storms, droughts, and harsh seasons, but one day, a strange figure entered the forest. It was a traveler from far away. Draped in feathers and beads, carrying a staff made from bone, he called himself Orin, the seeker of echoes. He had heard tales of a magic drum hidden deep within the jungle. Orin was not just a traveler, he was a sorcerer in disguise, and he craved power above all else. He visited Elder Elephant and said, "I have come to bless your forest. In return, I ask to see the drum." Elder Elephant hesitated. "The drum is sacred. Only the forest dwellers may use it." Orin smiled, but his eyes glinted darkly. "Very well," he said, bowing. But that night, he crept into the sacred cave. They all shrieked, sending alarms across the forest, but Orin had already touched the drum, and the moment he did, it howled with angry magic. Lightning flashed, thunder boomed. The jungle trembled, Orin was blasted backward, and the drum's glow turned red. The animals rushed to the cave. Koko, too, ran as fast as his legs could carry him. They found Orin unconscious, and the drum cracked down the middle. "Oh no," whispered Koko. "The magic, it's broken." Elder Elephant examined the drum. "Its power has been disturbed. Only the one who found it can restore it." "Koko, it must be you." "But how?" asked Koko. "What can I do?" "You must journey to the Mountain of Echoes," said the wise elephant. "There, the spirit of the drum resides." So Koko set off, with nothing but a walking stick and a satchel of nets. The path was long, winding through thorny bushes and foggy hills. He met many trials, talking snakes, singing rivers, and a cave that told riddles before letting him pass. Finally, after 7 days and nights, Koko reached the Mountain of Echoes. A great wind howled through the valley as he climbed. At the summit, he found a floating figure made of sound and missed the spirit of the drum. "Why have you come?" it asked in a voice like thunder and lullabies. Koko bowed low before the spirit and said, "Great one, the drum has been broken. I seek to restore it for my forest, for my friends." The spirit swirled in the air, its voice vibrating through the rocks. "Do you come for power, or for peace?" "For peace," Koko replied. "I was selfish once, but now I understand that true magic must be shared." The spirit circled Koko slowly, examining his heart with invisible eyes. "Then you must face 3 tests," it declared, "one of hunger, one of fear, and one of truth." A portal opened in the air, swirling with gold and dust. Koko stepped through it and found himself in a desert. The sun blazed, and there was no food, no shade. His stomach growled louder than ever before. For 2 days he walked, resisting the illusion of fruits that faded when touched. At last, a tray of gold and bananas appeared before him, steaming hot and fragrant. But beside it lay a child monkey, crying in pain. Koko looked at the food, then at the child. Without hesitation, he picked up the food and fed the child instead. The dessert melted away. The spirit's voice echoed, "You have passed the test of hunger." Koko blinked and found himself in a dark cave. Shadows loomed. Ghostly eyes watched him. He shivered in fear. Then he heard voices mocking, accusing. "You're greedy, a thief. You hoarded food and left others to starve." Koko trembled. He tried to cover his ears, but the voices came from within. His guilt rose like smoke. Then he cried aloud, "Yes, I was wrong. I should have shared. I'm sorry." The shadows faded. A beam of light shone down. "You have passed the test of fear." For the final test, Koko stood before a mirror. In it, he saw his past self, arrogant, boastful, beating the drum alone. Then he saw his present self, humble, weary, changed. "Speak the truth of your journey," the spirit commanded. Koko looked at his reflection. "I was selfish. I found power and forgot compassion. But I've learned that joy shared is joy multiplied." The mirror shattered into 1,000 stars. The spirit reappeared. "You have passed the test of truth." A new drum formed before Koko, smooth, radiant, humming with ancient magic. "Take it, and guard it well," said the spirit. Koko bowed again and carefully placed the new drum in his satchel. The journey home felt different, lighter, sacred. When he returned, the forest was waiting. The animals cheered and gathered around as he unveiled the restored drum. Elder Elephant wept with joy. "Koko, you have done more than restore a drum. You have restored trust." The new drum was placed in the forest hall, a clearing surrounded by trees that listened and stars that watched. Every week, the animals gathered to beat the drum, not to summon food alone, but to tell stories, sing songs, and celebrate life. The magic drum became more than a tool. It became a symbol of unity, humility, and the power of sharing. But peace never lasts forever. One rainy season, a strange disease spread through the forest. Crops wilted, animals fell sick, the animals rushed to the drum. "Call for medicine," they cried. "Call for healing fruits." Koko beat the drum gently, calling not for himself, but for the forest. Herbs and roots appeared bitter but healing. The sick were treated. And slowly, the forest began to recover. Even the trees seemed to breathe easier. The animals praised Koko, but he shook his head. "I only beat the drum. The real power lies in us when we care for each other." Years passed. Koko